got someone tonight. I feel a little inspired. This one's called Closer.
This is like a situation if you were like a fan of like a popular boy band and then one of the members starts dating your mom. The idea of you, based on the book by the same name that I have not read. I didn't know this was based on a Harry Styles fan fiction, but surprisingly, it wasn't as cringy as I had expected. It is a May-December-like relationship, but it's like special in that the guy, he's a pop star. He's a lead singer of the hottest boy band in the world, August Moon, which is like fictional. For the record, I was never a One Direction fan. I don't have any feelings towards One Direction. I myself was more of a K-pop, BTS ARMY fangirl. I'm guessing K-pop fans and Directioners have a lot of similar relatable fangirl stuff. I will admit that there were several moments in this movie that I was screaming like a fangirl. And I'm just like, what is happening to me? This whole story is really weird. Okay, let me explain the story first in case you haven't seen this movie. So Anne Hathaway, I only watched this for Anne Hathaway. She plays a 40-year-old divorced single mom who, because of some circumstances, has to take her daughter to Coachella. I would never find myself going to Coachella. I just feel like Coachella, especially as a 40-year-old, I'm like, I would feel so out of place. I already feel out of place. And Coachella is wild. Coachella is definitely out there. And then at Coachella, she accidentally runs into August Moon's lead singer, Hayes Campbell. She doesn't know who he is because she's not a fangirl. But her daughter used to be a fan of August Moon. She's like in high school now. She's like a high school senior. And so August Moon was like so seventh grade. So seventh grade for her. You got over your favorite boy band real fast. Like that wasn't even very long ago. But yeah, I guess when you're a teenager, your interests can shift quite quickly. This meeting was kind of weird. It was supposed to be cute, but I'm just like, it was really awkward. He fell for her like love at first sight kind of. And then she actually works at an art gallery, or she sells artwork. Okay, she works at a company that sells artwork. He finds her art studio or like whatever, and he stops by, and I was just like, how did he find her? But I guess because her name is so special, it's so unique that there's not that many people named Selene that own art galleries in the LA area. I don't even know where they live. He stops by her workplace and he buys all of the art pieces in her shop, and then they somehow end up going to another warehouse because there's more pieces there, and then that's how their relationship kind of begins. I had a couple of fangirling moments just because it was cute, and it's not really a fangirling moment. It's more just like hot young dude being kind of genuinely authentic and like flirty. Like it was cute. I will say it was cute. And then I think the only reason it really worked is because Anne Hathaway is hot or whatever, as Hayes would say.
You're also you're hot or whatever.
Hot. And their age gap. She's like 40 and he's like 24. So they're like 16 years apart. It was cute until they started kissing at her house. And then she's like, I'm old enough to be your mom. And then he's like, but you're not. And I'm like, no, that just didn't work for me. I'm sorry. That was just like, okay. Some of the dialogue in this was just like bad. But the main leads did a pretty good job. And they had some pretty good chemistry, I guess. And they were both just really hot.
You're hot or whatever.
I think it only works because they didn't really emphasize the age gap. Like it was never a thing that they ever talked about that much. So like as I was watching this, I sort of kind of forgot. I forgot that this was a May-December relationship. And I did see the movie May-December, and that one was actually uncomfortable to watch. This one actually feels just like your average rom-com. Their relationship worked, but it only really worked in a bubble. When they were just them two together, it felt cute and sweet. There was this whole thing about how she's like, I don't want to be like my husband because I totally judged him for cheating on me with a younger woman, and now I'm like with an even younger guy. They should have explored that more. She wanted to live in the fantasy of just them two in their own little bubble, but then once you think about the rest of the world and where their relationship fits in, then she kind of has those feelings of a little bit ashamed. They were just two very emotionally damaged people, like connecting. And you forgot the age gap because they didn't talk about it and they didn't act like they had an age gap. I mean, the guy who played Hayes Campbell, I don't know the actor's name because I've never seen him in anything else. Nicholas Galitzine? I don't know. He's actually 29, so he doesn't look that young. He doesn't look like a baby boy. I sort of forgot that this was like one of those. And Anne Hathaway's character, Solin, she actually had her daughter when she was very young. She never really got to live her life, I guess, and now she's 40, and this is apparently a story of her, like, finding herself. And it was supposed to be a beautiful story, but then there was like a bunch of drama because Hayes, who's in the boy band, at first she's like resistant, right? Because she's like, oh my God, you're like a famous pop star in your 20s and I'm like 40. We're not, this is never gonna work. There's no way this can work. This is crazy. But then she eventually gives in because he's like very persistent. But he's like persistent in kind of like a cute and authentic, genuine way. That's why it was like, it kind of worked out. It was just like, oh, butterflies in your stomach kind of thing. He's going on a tour in Europe, and so she goes with him, and they have like this total summer fling where he's like, you know, having all these concerts. She gets to be backstage after the paparazzi took pictures of Hayes and Solin doing intimate stuff on the beach and everywhere. I'm just like, why are you guys just like out there? Like, get a room or something, you know? That could have totally been prevented. I don't know what they were doing. But yeah, that gets out there and it's all over the internet. Of course, the word spreads fast and everyone's like hating Solin because she's like this old mom. The fangirls are super angry that she took Hayes off the market, you know, all that good stuff that would happen in real life too. That happens, and then they have to like sort of break up. I mean, she kind of breaks up with him, but then they get back together, but then it still doesn't work because her daughter is also getting bullied at school because her mom's dating a famous pop star. I think it's mostly hard because she has a kid. Like, if she didn't have a kid, I think it would be more okay. After they break up, they sort of part ways, but then 5 years later they meet again, so it's like a happy ending. I enjoyed watching this movie. I don't know. It's like one of those guilty pleasures, but at the same time, you're like, it's kind of twisted, but they made it the least twisted it could be. Solin was not one of those insufferable female leads, and she's not your average 40-year-old. So I'm like, yeah, it only works because Anne Hathaway did a great job. And then the guy as well. He was so genuine. And he didn't seem like a player. He didn't even really seem like some young guy in a boy band. That scene when they meet again after 5 years was a good scene. It was cute. Also, Hayes looked a lot older. He had like facial hair, and I'm like, okay, they look like they could be a cute couple. If you're a fangirl, you can probably relate. But if you're like not, you're gonna be like, this is not my type of movie. This is not everyone's cup of tea, obviously. I just enjoyed it because I guess the bar was set really low. So I'm like, oh, it was actually surprisingly okay. I got kind of emotional at the end too. It's a decent, you know, sit at home with nothing else to do kind of a watch.